So, you know, the final thing to put together after what I would be uploading right now, which is, you can't see what, because of the focus of the camera, but basically, the video I'm putting up, what I made earlier, regarding, analysis of the Daily Mail article regarding the Russian-Ukraine conflict. And hold on, it's on a different tab. EU referendum, and the captures beyond doing that regarding your rights as humans and British citizens is, what I put across is, and what I'll go on to, is, mind control, and, to do with the control of many nations across the world, especially the United States and the United Kingdom, being two examples. And, as you can see here, as it says, government derived from the Latin verb governo, and the rest, meaning to control. And the Latin noun mens, mentis, meaning the mind. Therefore, to control the mind. Mind control. What I've gone to onto this. Why my lens is so fucked up, but basically what I went across on is this is how I worked it out, Decoded. Money, it controls you, as as your life, and it distracts you. It keeps you distracted because it controls you. So the money system already is a control of your life, as you know, and it keeps you distracted because if you're a working person, you do long hours or whatever, even a short term, a week. It keeps you distracted because you're always busy, trying to, through the debt system, tax, everything that you have to pay as a working person. As it keeps you always busy, i.e. distracted, from a lot of other things in life. You've got your kids to look after if you're a parent. Loads of stuff for starters. And then the media, that controls you, i.e. dictates you. You don't think for yourself for starters. You always listen to what you're told. Therefore, that keeps you distracted as well. Especially when it's politics or wars or attacks and that terrorist attacks. Because, if it's mainly terrorist attacks, we'll call it for now, it always makes you fear, for your security and your family and that. So it keeps your mind distracted. And those things used together, politics, whatever, wars, that's going to keep your mind distracted double, trying to survive with money while fearing for your security and your safety. And then we'll move on to two things, as I said, keeps your mind occupied. And then I hate it when it scrolls like this. So it keeps you distracted and thus keeps you focused on those two things, which I put, why you're victimised by evil, because that's the way I see it, when we're regarding, what they say the superpower, or the shadow government. And then the media causes the fear and panic, and the money causes that desperacy, i.e. to survive, because that's what you depend on. That's why people, they're always busy trying to get more money, or trying to get more, not realising that they actually have the rights, i.e. democracy in a democratic country, to decide mostly on their taxes anyway. So they're always distracted by that. So it's controlling your minds and distracting you. And then what I put is from the bigger picture, i.e. the evil people that are behind all these governments in the first place. Latin term, government, which is said to control the mind. You can look that up yourself. And then a problem reaction solution system, which David Icke worked out himself regarding false flag operations, 9/11, 7/7, etc. where the solution was what they did with wars and that, or the Middle East. You know, the problem was terrorist attack as their false flag operation reaction, as everyone knows what was on about the fear, you know, for your safety. And the solution was, we'll protect you, but we need to go to, you know, Middle East and take up Bin Laden, etc. And then, you know, there's that other one that they use as well, you know, cause them a problem, you know, the money, you know, up the taxes, make them more desperate for the money. That'll keep them distracted. You know, the fear, you know, that's the problem they cause for you, using the same method, different application, reaction, you know, fear from the false flag attacks or terrorist attacks. The up in taxes again, more dependent on money, more desperate, you know, and stuff. Solution that they'll offer you, well, you know, there's solution that they know you'll have is depend on how things are run, for, you know, because you feel hopeless and not in control, you know, based on the British public themselves, you know, where people, instead of, you know, standing up for your rights because you feel that you're not in control for starters, you know, you feel dependent on the system itself and how it's run. And then, you know, hopeless, same for your safety from these attacks. So you feel like you're not in control, because that's how you feel, you know, when you get pissed off about it. You feel that you're not in control, and therefore, you know, it shows you the control system itself. And then, you know, that's just what I put, you know, basically. That. Anyway, and then we'll move on to, you know, conspiracy theorists, what we're talking about. Theresa May, you know, their problem, me and David Icke, his son Jamie Icke, problem conspiracy theorists, speaking the truth, reaction, will axe the human rights, take away the freedom of speech, and threaten with imprisonment, you know, for now, you know, while we put this out there, to trying to intimidate them. Solution, you know, winning the referendum of the EU, from the EU, will make up that it's claiming, will make up that, you know, to deport illegal immigrants, and we'll get the same vote wins as we did to win from the right wing, you know, fans, as much as they'll vote for, you know, deporting illegal immigrants. You know, we also get to imprison after we axe the human rights from that vote. You know, basically shut up people speaking the truth, i.e. David Icke and me. And then also the bonuses would be for that 2016 as planned, also take over rights for those same people who voted for us. Every single UK citizen, and, you know, dictate to them. And then ridicule any conspiracy theorists for now either ruining their reputations or keeping the public distracted with other things. You know, as we can see with Jeremy Clarkson, he's not a conspiracy theorist, but as I said, the man's had his reputation ruined because, you know, of him wanting to go into politics and his views, socialist views. And then we've got another one using the same problem, reaction, solution method regarding Russia. Problem, Russia, President Putin not backing down from, you know, giving the ownership of the Federal Reserve for the economic profits of Russia, you know, so they can have full control and all the money control over the country. Reaction would be to cause a false flag crash, or, you know, which was either to take out Putin, but they messed up, and then cause division between Russia and Ukraine. No, it might have been the first thing that started it. I'm not sure how it went, but regardless, then step in as the allies of the Ukraine, you know, by causing the rioting, and, you know, either way, you know, it's to do with Russia, you know, why that happened, I guarantee. And then a solution, you know, to go to war with Russia by sanctioning them, trying to sanction them over the crash, take control of Russia and get a hold of the economic supply. And then, you know, as I said, 9/11, 7/7, Sydney, Paris, all of those, Boston, you know, all of those were false flag, using the same method, problem, reaction, solution. And then you can see how it works. You know, it's a simple method. You know, it's not, that's how they would do it, you know, briefly. You know, they'd just think of briefly the problem, you know, whatever it is. They just, I said, to briefly put it down, then the reaction, and then the solution. You know, it's an easy system and method to use. And as I said, from analysing the public, United States, UK, 9/11/77, you know, since 9/11, you know, they wouldn't change that system, that method, the false flag, problem, terrorist this, you know, reaction, fear from the public every time, all the way up to Sydney and that. And you know, solution is always to stay in a Middle Eastern country or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm coming up with the odd thing. So I can sense fear coming from someone. I don't know where it's coming from, but I always do when I start talking about these things. You know, I can sense someone shitting themselves. Anyway, government, as I said, derived from the Latin verb governare, meaning to control. Latin noun mens mentis, meaning the mind, to control the mind. So you know, you can see how it works. It's all about control, and that's where, you know, it's simply put, you know, put together. It is about control, and you know, that's what I said. And hopefully this won't run out in time. You know, that everybody doesn't realise, you know, that piece of paper that you're so desperate chasing because of debt, tax, etc. So, you know, I'll finish this off with, you know, what I said about, you know, the psychic ability, you know, telepathy, you know, which people out there who don't know about or don't believe it, you know, I base it on premonition, which comes from part of telepathy. You know, basically through that, you know, with this video I put together, i.e. the ruined reputations of political activists. And when I edited that video, you know, when I put that bit at the start, you know, with me at the computer, you know, the webcam, with that audio from the Matrix film, you know, this is the thing. I didn't even, you know, edit that in with the audio to time. You know, I just put the video clips together, and then, you know, I put the audio on and cut them down so, you know, they time together with the thing, and let the video just flow next to the audio because I wasn't bothered. But as you would have seen, you know, if you watched that or when you watched that, you know, like 2 examples which were more than coincidental. You know, where I say that means I can dodge bullets, and you know, before I say it, I cough like, and then, you know, the one where he's being interviewed and that, and you know, they say you've got a future starting here, and you know, as soon as he said that, you know, I point at the clouds and say here or whatever. You know, I noticed that myself because, as I said, I've got some kind of subconscious level, you know, like with when I make music tracks and that, you know, where where I've discovered things I know about people or things later on, you know, about realising it. You know, like I've got what they say is the third eye view, and where the third eye view is to have premonitions, etc. You know, things like that. You know, be able to hear the unheard, i.e. other people's thoughts, etc. And, you know things that other people can't. You know, things like that. So, you know, based on that, but, you know, whether people trust in me is another thing they decide to do. Because, you know, all I do is this out of charity and goodwill, you know, to help you, whether we have different views and morals and stuff on things. You know, so whatever the matter is, you know, I'm trying to use my words as weapons, not violence, to, you know, change the world, because they can be powerful. And, you know, I use my knowledge, wisdom, etc. And, you know, the skills in my genetics and that, you know, to put this across. And, you know, just make you think for yourselves, or help you think for yourselves, and things that have been taken away from you. You know, as through what I just based it on, having your minds controlled through dictatorship. And, you know, as I said, based on Hitler, and what I said in that other video, you know, where he said basically take away people's rights. You know, the thing about Hitler himself, he was a dictator, you know. So if that man already knew those methods, being a dictator and using dictatorship, and as I said, it's being applied to other governments and that, then, you know, it ties the dots with that anyway. And then I move on to this thing, which is again Wikipedia, to do with New World Order conspiracy theory, which is also uses a Latin term, ironically, and the connections with the Rothschilds and that, who are behind it, or what who are said to be through conspiracy theories, i.e., you know, questioning things. You know, they use that as their motto. You know, the Civil War era in America, where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. You know, Order of the New World, also in Latin. You know, based on this, and what I'll go through on that, you know, it's just saying about replacing sovereign nation states, authority in world government, you know, i.e. well, martial law, what I said, which is basically order in a new world. Secretive power, which they say mainly is the Rothschilds, then there's the Rockefellers, then again the Morgans, I'm not sure about them. You know, globalist agenda, conspiring to eventually rule the world through authority in government and that, you know, all-encompassing propaganda whose ideology housed the establishment of the New World Order. Stuff like that, you know, significant occurrences in politics and finance are speculated to be orchestrated by an unduly influential cable. Uh, this is just the theories and that, but you know, there's a lot behind it, and you know, history in the term. You know, Woodrow Wilson and Winston Churchill used the terms New World Order as well. It's saying on there. You know, with Nathan Rothschild, I think Nathan Rothschild was the one who said basically he controls the money of the United Kingdom. You know, he said that I don't care, you know, which puppet is placed on the throne of the UK, you know, because I basically control that money system. You know, they're basically a puppet for me, i.e. Winston Churchill would have been. Woodrow Wilson, when president who ended up assassinated, I think he was one who basically, and now I see it if he was talking about that, not like JFK. I'm not sure though, you know, where he said there's a power so powerful, near it briefly, that any man in the American government, like Congress, etc., speaks out about it. You know, it would basically end up like JFK or Abraham Lincoln, and that's where he would have learnt from Abraham Lincoln being the first one. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, through this page which I'll leave linked up anyway. And you know, these things get really weird, but you know, I'm just connecting the dots. You know, as it's saying in the words of Winston Churchill there. You know, until now the world we've known as being a world divided, a world of barbed wire, concrete block, Cold War, etc. A world which there is very real prospect of the New World Order. And then it's saying in his words, a world order in which principles of justice and fair play protect the weak against the strong. A world where the United Nations, IUM, freed from Cold War stalemate, is poised to fulfill the historic vision and that. You know, based on that, you know, a world where freedom and respect of human rights. You know, that doesn't sound right to me based on this EU referendum, basically where, you know, it's getting axed, which is to do with human rights. And, you know, tying in with the false flag operations, you know, that's far from freedom and respect for human rights anyway. It's all contradictory. And then, you know, that's President Bush, but he, you know, he said himself as well, which I heard about, you know, announced his foreign policy, which would help build a new world order. His phrasing, search through a Christian and secular hard right like an electric shock. You know, through that, you know, which I actually saw, you know, through myself, or what was mentioned, you know, through, which is also mentioned on Wikipedia. You know, that he also mentioned the New World Order. And, you know, I don't know about Winston Churchill, but, you know, there's theories behind the Nazi regime anyway. But, you know, as President Bush, as everyone knows, the Bush administration, i.e. 9/11, and you know what I said on that, what I'm saying in this video, which should be uploaded soon, regarding, you know, which mentions that, you know, the Daily Mail article I analysed, you know, that, and the stuff tied behind that to do with the New World Order. You know, the start of 9/11 was, you know, basically the start, you know, was the path to the New World Order. And, you know, 15 years later, you know, it's very close. You know, look at this. We've got the World War III tied in with what David Icke said. You know, the problem, reaction, solution. You know, the wars, World War I, World War II, 9/11, all those attacks to World War III, Russia, China, etc. You know, the solution will be that New World Order, i.e., you know, world martial law. And you know, I'm just connecting dots. And, you know, if you can't see that yourself, you know, I'm just trying to help you. I speak the truth, and this is what I do. You know, using skills based on more what I see through decent sources that you even trust yourself. You know, like Daily Mail. You know, Wikipedia, to make sure that you know I'm not looking at any kind of conspiracy sites. You know, I always find sources and information from things like this, as that basis, or you know, things that have been, you know, have backup to them when I make my videos. You know, based with conspiracy next to it, i.e. motives and stuff like that, using my skills. So you know, when you look at all of this, you know, there's a lot of history behind it. You know, like Woodrow Wilson, what he said, uh, Winston Churchill, President Bush, JF Kennedy, you know, he said something about, mentioning subtly about it, he was assassinated. Abraham Lincoln, you know, President Putin 2012 spoke out against this thing called the Illuminati. And you know, since then, as I said, with Edward Snowden, etc., you know, to the, what's happening now, you know, that they don't make themselves, they make themselves more obvious, you know, without realising it. You know, these people they call the Rothschild, etc. So, you know, I leave this out to everyone to realise, you know, to themselves, you know, what they want to think about it, you know, and a more sinister thing to it, because you know it really is more sinister than you think. And you know, then it's on this same thing, it's saying mass surveillance conspiracies concerned with surveillance abuse, that the New World Order is being implemented by the cult of intelligence at the core of the surveillance industrial complex. You know, mass surveillance, you know, I don't know when this article was made, but as you know, GCHQ, NSA, Edward Snowden, global surveillance program and that. You know, that tells you a lot as well, you know, with to do with mass surveillance. And one was talking about that. You know, there's not a reason they need to spy on you. The smart TVs, what they've come out with, what record, you know, record audio, record you while you watch TV. You know, why, ask yourself quickly, think, why do those TVs even have to record what you're saying? You know, actually record it with a mic in that room you're sitting in, living room. There's no reason behind it unless they want to listen to your conversation. And that's what I'll leave on that. You know, and ask yourself, you know, what me, David, etc. have been speaking about. Connect the dots, the videos on my channel. Watch them all in your own time and make your own decisions. Because I'm just trying to preach, trying to help everyone. So cheers.